Boom. So now we are recording. Guys, good morning. Welcome to November. Happy Thanksgiving, since that's coming up here in about 2 weeks or so. I'm excited about this. Your reluctance to commit to sabotaging, your reluctance to commit is sabotaging your happies. It really is in the way. And there's something funny about this concept of commitment that really gets in there that we really struggle with, because in codependency, we're taught to react. We're taught to wait until something happens and then we'll fix it. But commitment is the opposite of that. Commitment is saying, I want this thing, I'm going for it, and despite what the unknown is. It's not a reactive state. Commitment is a proactive state. It's a claim on what the future will be eventually by persisting in accomplishing or pursuing whatever it is we're committing to. And if we're really about healing, if we're really serious about leaving the world of codependency, leaving the world of narcissistic relationships, empty friendships, purpose that's depleting you, jobs that empty you, that kind of thing. If you're really actually serious about your happiness, about your fulfillment, commitment has to be addressed. You've got to get honest with how your lack of commitment to a solid, defined outcome for yourself is sabotaging your healing, your adventure, your love, your purpose, your happiness, whatever it might be. And this is one of the things that can be really hard to get honest with. How am I not committing? Committing to my therapy, for instance, committing to my growth, committing to my own priorities, committing to the value of my own emotions, committing to me as a human being, to my joy. Because like in codependency, what we tend to do is we meet somebody and we like them, but there's something off, but we'll tolerate that. We'll tolerate that for a little while. And then we kind of get comfortable in that. And then now we're sucked into a relationship that's either mediocre at best or at worst toxic and damaging to us. That's because we are not committed to our value. We're not committed to our voice, to our vision. So your commitment is sabotaging your happiness in so many ways, and you're doing it unconsciously. You're doing it in ways that you don't even realize you're doing it. Like, for instance, diets. I have a high blood pressure, so I have to be very conscious about what I eat. And so if I'm committed to that, that means I'm eating food that doesn't have a high salt or saturated fat content, and I'm committed to a exercise routine. If I don't do that, I get the consequence I don't want. And this brings up another component here, and this is a cool concept if you let this sink in. Commitment is about consequences. It's about connecting our present with a future that we want to have. So if we start looking at things from the framework of consequence, then we can ask ourselves some really easy questions. What consequence do I want? So if you're in the healing phase of codependency, where you're discovering who you are and what you want to be, or you're discovering what's going on with you, what happened in the relationship, what your feelings are, working out the emotional trauma of all of that. If you're in that phase, then what's your commitment? Where do you want to take it? Right? That's what you need to ask yourself. So where would I like to end up? What kind of experience would I like to have? And then that commitment leads you into that consequence. But if you don't if you don't make that commitment, your consequence, the outcome you receive, could be a number of things that you don't want. Especially what I call therapy or healing loops, where you're constantly going in this loop of realization and feeling better, but not making any real change in your life. That was something that I got stuck in therapy for a very long time, because fundamentally therapy is extremely useful for helping us understand what we went through and analyze it and get in contact with it, kind of take it apart and understand it. A lot of times that's where we get stuck. And so we've got to move out of that and connect with the experience of who am I beyond this, beyond the codependency, beyond the trauma. And that's where the commitment comes in. Because if you're not committing to a value, to an experience you desire to have in your life, and anchoring that to your healing work, anchoring it to your self-discovery, anchoring it to your daily life, you're going to sabotage your happiness, because you're going to be like a ship on the ocean that's not even using its rudder. It's just going to go wherever the wind blows. And that's why we get stuck in this. And that happens because we're not committed to a course. And so now I got to get honest with ourselves. How am I sabotaging my life, my happiness, my joy by not committing? What am I actually saying yes to that isn't aligned with my healing, with the value I want to experience, like joy or peace or freedom or fun or love? Am I talking to myself or treating myself in a certain way that gets in the way of that commitment? Where am I not committing and then being loyal to that commitment for this outcome, this consequence that I want? That's what we've got to understand here. And this is really what I dive deep into in the Brilliance Mastermind. It's helping people get honest with what they really want to experience. So the Mastermind can help you with your healing. It can help you with finding love, wealth, a better job, business. Those are the common things that, like last year's participants, experienced more wealth, more health, more well-being, and more happiness, more purpose in their life. But it happened because they made a commitment to experiencing a particular kind of result and then doing the work that shows up in that process. That's called receiving. So this reluctance to commit, how is it sabotaging your happiness? Where can you see in your life that it's getting in the way, that it's inhibiting you from actually feeling and experiencing that happiness you deserve to have? Let me know in the comments below where that's happening for you. For me, a lot of times my reluctance to commit comes from an angle of one of the two big fantasies. There's something better out there, or it's going to be painful to get it. Those are my two big fantasies that get in the way of commitment for me. So I've been working with those for a little while. I'm like, ooh, the pain shows up. Then we can reorganize that. We can release it by meeting the internalized unmet need and then connect with the new value we have, whether it's joy or peace. For me, it's typically joy and curiosity and innovation. That leads me out of that fear, gets me back into curiosity, which allows me to receive the thing I'm committing to. First of all, receiving the commitment to it. And then secondly, if the idea that or the first sabotage shows up, the first, it's my brain spaced it. But if we're sabotaging ourselves with those fantasies, that's where we start. We start receiving the fantasy. We start saying, I believe it should be this way. What else is possible now? That gets us open to what's going on for us so that we can receive the healing we want. We can receive the joy we want. We can receive direction. And then we can actually accomplish that consequence we're seeking, whether it's peace or relief or happiness or pleasure or a better job or just a happier sense of self. That's all attainable to you. But you've got to first identify why you're reluctant to commit and then work that out by resolving the unmet need in the background. I hope this is making sense. It's kind of discombobulated right now in my brain. So that's what I want you to think about, how your reluctance is sabotaging your happiness. This relates to how we deal with our emotions. Are we making our emotions right or wrong, bad or good? Are we making them negative and positive? Or are we actually connecting with the experience of the emotion where it is pleasure or pain? Generally, that's where they fall into those two categories. And then in that, we can tap into the experience or the insight they give us, especially with pain. Pain's an important signal because it wants to connect us to an unmet need. It's saying, hey, we need something here. Then we can meet that need. When we meet the need, the pain goes away and it opens up the space for joy. It opens the space for pleasure so that we can connect to and move forward with our life and getting to the happies that we want in our life, guys. This is where commitment is essential. And one of the first commitments I tend to encourage my clients and students to make is to their own healing, to their discovery of who they are beyond their pain. That can be a daunting journey because now we have to give up the safety blanket of our pain and start discovering safety within peace or within calmness or outside of control or feeling in control. Instead, we got to learn how to receive and how to navigate that while resolving underlying trauma, underlying pain and fear by meeting those unmet needs. Because generally, and from my point of view, all pain is the expression of an unmet need, including that of trauma. Trauma specifically is two unmet needs, the need for safety and the need for whatever the other need was in the event that was going on that wasn't met because it wasn't safe, if that makes sense. So guys, where are you sabotaging your happiness with your reluctance to commit? Are you reluctant to commit to the belief that you could be happy? Are you reluctant to commit to feeling happy because it'll go away and you don't want to lose that? Are you reluctant to discovering who you are without your pain or your trauma? Because maybe that would be more painful or scary or unknown. That's where you got to look. Where are you reluctant to really commit to your happiness? And why? What is speaking to you there? What unmet need is crying out for attention and for nourishment in that pain? So that's how you do it. That's today's training, guys. Your reluctance to commitment is sabotaging your happiness because it keeps us from being taking committed, consistent action towards what we desire, and it also prevents us from receiving what shows up. That's our teacher. It's our mentor. So when we choose something, there's a whole set of things that start to show up for us. When we commit to a particular outcome, we're going to start encountering everything that's in the way of receiving it. Then we got to learn how to receive that and release it. Okay? So there's this 3-step process I teach in the mastermind. It's called release, or receive, release, and focus, or refocus. So the 3 R's. So I receive what shows up, I release it, because I'm not applying a meaning to it, and then I refocus. Boom. That refocus is usually towards the committed value I'm looking to experience, whether it's joy or peace or wealth or abundance, whatever it might be. That energy I receive, I refocus on that and receive that, and then release it and move back through the process. This allows us to succeed in dealing with our reality, not getting hung up on failures, and also to grow in the way we need to grow in order to receive the thing we're asking for, that we're committed to. Because commitment is the first step in your growth path to becoming the person that can receive and can keep the experience you deserve that you're trying to accomplish in your life. So, there you go, guys. Let me know in the comments what you are reluctant, or how what you want to be committed to, number 1, and how you're sabotaging it. And then tomorrow I can give you some guidance, personal guidance, on how to adjust that for you in your life. So, let's run with it. Let me know what you guys think about this in the comments below. I appreciate you guys showing up. Get out there and commit to what you want, and then start receiving what shows up, release it, and refocus back to that commitment so that you too can be happy. If you want help with this, or you want to really get serious and master this, apply for your spot in the Brilliance Mastermind. Brilliance Mastermind is 12-month-long series of experiments I take you through where I teach you how to choose what you really want so you can have a concrete emotional and mental commitment to your desire, 2, how to receive that desire, and then 3, how to refine it so that you can get more of what you want. And that allows you to have more power, more control in your life about getting what you want and accomplishing things that actually matter to you so you can have more fulfillment. And that can be anything. I have clients who've manifested going on fishing trips because that's what really matters to them. Cool, let's do that. Your happiness, your brand happiness is all that matters in that. So if you're interested in that, that really calls to you, you're looking for purpose, love, wealth, change in your life, Brilliance Mastermind is going to give you the way to accomplish that. So apply there. The link is above on Facebook. It's below on YouTube. Again, guys, I appreciate you. And you guys have a great day, and I'll see you for tomorrow's training.